What's going on? Today we're dissecting the next two characters of Jump Force DLC, and I decided that I'd start with a character that I'm less familiar with, simply because I just want to save the best for last. So when it comes down to it, I think Hiei is just a really cool character. I think he's pretty good. I think he has a lot of good. I think he has a good tools. I think he has a lot of cool mechanics about him that might make him different from other characters, or make him be worth playing over other characters. And I think also he's just overall a pretty fun character to play as well. So if you do learn him, I think you're gonna have a fun time playing him simply because of the way that he works. So how does he work? Let's get into it. So his normals, right? They're pretty fast, and what you've noticed, right? I'm sure you've noticed it already, but he teleports around as he's hitting the opponent, which is actually pretty good, right? So that means if the opponent ends up escaping at the wrong time during your combo, you just might be able to chase them down and smack them around some more, even after they've escaped and used up all their mobility meter. Now, obviously this doesn't really apply to high speed counters or like high speed dodges, but if they do end up escaping out of you pressing lights, then it could be a pretty good way for you to continue your combos, right? If it's down light, right, it's a slide that's fairly fast, right? Now, don't get it twisted. You can still press triangle, not triangle. You can press square normally, and sort of still get that same range. But this, you sort of see Hiei jump before he moves, right? Versus this, it's just a really quick slide, and you might not even realize what's going on until it's too late. And this slide can also combo into lights, real easy, right? And it might even be a good way to bait out someone's escape if they're not planning to high-speed counter, right? Which usually you should be trying to high-speed counter or high-speed dodge, but in the case that they can't, they're probably going to try to escape if you have a combo that goes into super, which you do. You have a lot of them. So yeah, just really good ways to like mix up the opponent. Next, his like up tilt for some reason. Yeah, there you go. So he goes up in the air, and then like he teleports in the air, and then he hits them down, which sort of almost implies that he has some sort of like air combos, but he doesn't, because if you do his like regular air combos, it's just like 6 quick hits. It's not really a big deal. So yeah, no real air combos with him, but his up moves do send them the other direction. I don't know if you want to put them in like a corner or something. I guess that can be useful. But not really useful for much other than that, unless you want some range. But if you wanted some distance, you'd probably just use some meter. Maybe if you want to create some distance without using meter, I don't know. It could be a good option. His heavies, so he punches, right? So he jumps up and punches, and then after that punch, he does a sword slash that goes pretty far, and then he slashes down on the ground to do that third hit. And after the third hit, it does combo into your darkness sword slash, or your sword of the darkness flame. Just make sure you don't mess up your timing on your lights and your heavies, or else you might get some really jank hitboxes, and they might fall out of your combo, which happens a lot in this game. It's not really a fault of High, but really it's just a fault of the game in general. Just spend some time with the character and just figure out which lights combo into your heavy efficiently, because if you don't, then you're gonna get a lot of times where yeah, you're gonna whiff, and then the move isn't gonna come out. That was, you see that? Because I comboed into my heavy too early, it whiffed. So just be careful with that. So Sword of Darkness Flame is a really cool move that goes fairly far. It's not full screen, but if you do charge it, he can get like extra range on it. Now with normal Sword of Darkness Flash, of Darkness Flame, Sword of Darkness Flame, you can't really do much after it, right? Unless you have support. If you have support, then you can extend it. But if you charge it up, it's actually a combo starter as well. If you charge up your Sword of Darkness Flame, you can sort of like catch them in combos. And then you can combo into the Purgatory Scorch, which has a really cool animation, and it sends them pretty far. And that's really good for 2 reasons. First off, is that, okay, so let's say you catch someone with Sword of Darkness Flame, and then they escape, right? But then you still end up catching them. And then you go into your Purgatory. Purgatory Scorch is a free combo into Super as well. And although it looks like it should, it does not combo into the base form of Sword of Darkness Flame. And what do I mean by base form? I'll get into that in a minute, right? Now, I just want you to know that Sword of Darkness Flame and Purgatory Scorch do have the ability to be powered up. So Hei, like the way that you see Hei now is only his like most basic form. And his third move is sort of just like a tool for like trying to play around your opponent. I don't really like, it doesn't have any combo utility, but as you can see, you sidestep fairly fast. And if I'm reading this correctly, it says release R2 in time with your opponent's attack, right? So that means that it can be a pretty good way to counter your opponent when they start attacking you, which means he probably has a small bit of invincibility when he does this move. Now, I haven't tested it, but I'm pretty sure that's what it does. If not invincibility, then at least a little bit of armor when he's doing this move. And even if not, like, it does have a pretty good amount of armor. Now, you can't cancel the move once you're in it, right? So once you activated it, you're pretty much stuck in there. So you can't just do this thing all like willy-nilly, but it can be a good way to sort of like bait your opponent out, or even to catch your opponent off guard. It doesn't go too far, but you can teleport forward, you know. You see, like he gets a lot more distance when he teleports forward, so like, and then you know he can do that. You can bring out support during it, although it can't immediately go into lights. If you time it correctly, I'm sure you can get some cool stuff with it. The coolest thing about Hei is not his awakening, but his super, right? Now you can combo into super with his Purgatory Scorch, and as you can see, the color changed once you go awakening, and it's gonna change again after you do super. So he brings out his Darkness Flame Dragon, and then it doesn't go away, it goes into him, right? And this is his powered up mode. Now this is gonna last you for the rest of the match. It's not just gonna last you for the end of the game. The same with like that like Kakashi's, once you awaken, he gets the second version of his lightning blade, or like, you know how Goku, after he transforms, he gets like the Super Saiyan hair. Same thing with like Vegeta. You're gonna keep this power up for the rest of the match. So with Hei, you want to get that super as soon as you can. Whether you do high damage combo into it or not, right? This super is really important, and I want to show you why, right? So uncharged Sword of the Darkness Flame gets a little buff, right? You still can't do lights out of it, right? But what you can do now is that you can Purgatory Scorch into Sword of the Darkness Flame and then get the combo. You know, so Purgatory Scorch is a command grab, which means your opponent can't block the move. So whether you combo into it or whether you just do it in neutral when your opponent's blocking, you can get Sword of Darkness Flame, and then you can keep on extending. Now, Hei can spend all 5 bars to do one combo, or you can sort of like try to mitigate the damage. So you can use 3 bars to sort of do around the same amount. If you go Purgatory, so if you do this the Darkness Sword Flame first, and then you go into Purgatory Sword Slash, or Purgatory Scorch, and then go into your super, you can sort of do the same amount of damage. So you can either do that, which does a fair amount, even like outside of super, or you can go Purgatory Scorch and just finish it. Oh, okay. So one thing I forgot to mention is that when Purgatory Scorch powers up, right? Not only can you do Darkness Sword Flame, but you can charge it all the way when you get that Darkness Sword Flame. So if you time it correctly, you could probably do some pretty crazy stuff with Hiei. And so I just think he's pretty good. I like, although I'm not really good with his combos yet, it's pretty easy to see why he's pretty crazy, right? This is a command grab. You cannot block this. This goes into super. This goes into more combos. You can probably press escape when you're in the air, when you're flying in the air, but it's not always going to be easy to do that, right? Because you won't always have mobility meter, and sometimes he can catch you during his combos, during his lights, if you escape too early, and sort of like just combo you again. So it's really interesting. And the last thing I showed, the last thing I wanted to show out for last, or what I wanted to show off for last, is his grab, right? His regular neutral grab. Cool enough, right? Now, I want you to think about this, right? His grab leaves him right next to the opponent. The opponent gets up, right? Guess who gets to act first? Guess who gets... Not me. I'm pressing punch right now. And the opponent got up before I even got a chance to act, which means the opponent gets the advantage when you grab because you're at close range, and because you have a lot of ending grab on your lag. He cannot grab into super, he cannot grab into anything. His grab is probably one of the worst grabs in the game, right? Now what some characters can do, some characters can press two normals and then mix up into grab, right? Hiei can't really do that. Hiei has to stop his whole combo and then press grab, which sort of stops him from being able to grab you normally, which I think is a good balance for his normals, having someone who teleports around them. So he can't like grab you, like he can't mix up into grab easily. You see that right there? Like that was seamless, right? That's what I'm talking about, right? Piccolo does 2 hits, goes into grab. Pretty easy. But with Hiei, there's a real obvious opening when your hits end and when you grab, because you're gonna see this, because you're gonna see that grab coming. It's not really an optimal play for Hiei to go into grab like this, unlike characters like Bakugo, who can sort of like do that pretty easily. Like there are a lot of characters like the JoJo characters who can sort of like mix up into grabs very easily. I don't think Hiei is one of those characters. Now you can go into command grab. That's not a problem, but you know, command grab costs meter. The whole point of grab is to, 1, give you distance, and 2, to open up your opponent, and I don't think this is good at doing either of those. So his regular grab might not be as good, but pretty solid character overall. So hope you guys enjoyed. This is your boy Sir Nistro, Commander of the Robotic here. Next we will go into Miriam, which I am very excited to tell you all about. So one thing I forgot to mention last time was that Hiei as support is pretty good. He does his Darkness Sword Flash. He goes pretty far, and it is pretty good combo extender / combo starter if you catch your opponent. Now, it doesn't have the best range into that, and he won't catch him, you know, off the rip. And from the way Hiei works, despite him being able to get powered up when he does super, despite him having the power up after doing super, I don't see too much difference with the move. Maybe it does a little more damage. Maybe it leaves him stunned for a little longer. I can't really tell, but it's not really much different than it was before. Which, I guess it's just makes it an okay support move. You just have to know how to use it, and I'm sure it'll treat you well. So, yeah.